let's start this interview from a short recap of your presentation at the stage, because not all of our viewers had a chance to see it. So let's shortly, what were you talking about?
Okay, well the thing I was asked to talk about was the future of games. I'm not a developer, I'm not an engineer, I'm not an artist, so I can't really tell anyone what the future of games will be on a technical level. But what I can do is draw upon my experience as a writer, as a journalist, as a critic, and talk to people about the value of ideas in the future. And I believe we're at a very special time in the development of gaming at the moment. We've got all of these new platforms we can use. You know, you can get a game on Steam now. It's not super easy, but you can get it done. It's easy to get one on iOS or on Android. You have Unity, which is free. You can make great games with that. And basically now anyone can make a game as long as they've got a laptop, a copy of Unity, and the ambition and like the time and the effort to do it. I think this is going to lead to lots of new ideas coming up, and I think lots of new ideas from lots of different parts of the world where traditionally games haven't been made before. I think this is going to be key to where we head from here.
So you kind of agree that indie revolution, you know, which has like 2 points of evaluation from people. People say that it's great because a lot of people can come up and join the industry, show their ideas, kick some ass for major publishers and do it themselves, while others say that, you know, but indie games are poor quality, poor execution, poor quality assurance. You know, they don't have this hard cash, you know, to hire lots of people to just simply test the game, and they have broken releases, and that this has no future at all. So you are more leaning towards people who believes in it.
Well, yes. I mean, what I would say is I think both of those things are true. There are lots of games out there now, more games than anyone can actually play, and there are a lot of games that aren't very good, probably aren't actually worth playing. I mean, I think the message to people should be, make your idea one that you can actually achieve properly. I mean, there is no point in trying to make a first-person shooter if you've got a team of 2 and no money in the bank. But you can probably make your puzzle platformer really, really good. I mean, I know people that have made games with just 1 or 2 people in the space of 6 months, and they've made money off them. Like, it's really just about thinking about what you're doing, getting the right idea, and making sure you can execute that idea to an acceptable standard. If you do that, you're automatically above 90% of what's out there. From there, maybe you need a little bit of luck, but if you can get yourself that 90% of the way, then you've done really well, I think.
So I think the biggest challenge for indie, because indie as such, it's not something new. I mean, it exists for as long as we have game industry, and right now, they have more opportunities to show and sell. But then again, it's limited to, let's say, geeky places. I mean, even Steam, it's not really. I mean, it's huge, but it's not really mainstream as Tesco, for example. So. How do you evaluate like recent happenings when Sony invited indie not only, you know, to show the reel of indie games coming in, but also launched a Kickstarter? Do you think that it may be one of the scenarios of indie and AAA cooperation, when AAA can help indie developer with an assurance of people?
Yes. Well, I think that this is actually, this is an extremely good point you're making here, and it's something I think about a lot. You're right, the Kickstarter being launched on stage at E3, I think it's kind of a big moment, really. I think Sony's really put indies at the center of its message around PlayStation 4. It's kind of delivered that, you know, it's still quite hard to have a hit on PlayStation, but what I think you're seeing is these big companies are recognizing more and more, not just that indies can have great ideas that maybe they can't have because they're so big and they have, you know, investors to think about, right? But also that people want to see independent ideas out there. Gamers like me, gamers like you, the gamers who use Steam. I mean, if you can put yourself next to an indie and actually show you're helping out, then those people are going to like you more. I think that's very important to companies that really care about their public image. And okay, maybe they're doing it for selfish reasons, but I think in the end, probably it just benefits everybody.
Okay, and in terms of Lithuania, I guess you are aware we were under Soviet occupation, and one thing which was during Soviet occupation is that we had no games. I mean, at all. We had several clones. I'm just guessing that maybe they traded it for Tetris, because we had Tetris created in Russia, and then it was sold to Nintendo. And in return, I guess we've got those handheld Nintendo machines with Mickey catching eggs.
Right.
Yeah, it was changed to some Soviet character. There was a wolf catching same eggs. The same game. But that was absolutely all. We had also like mechatronic arcade saloons, but after the collapse, all arts, like movies, music industry, even like writers and poets, well, when we felt this wind of change, like sometime in the 80s, and everybody felt a little bit relaxed because there were much less repressions since the coming of Gorbachev, and everybody started talking louder, and like singers and movie doers and writers, they driven this revolution.
Yeah.
And when we became free, we actually had these industries, but no gaming industry. So we couldn't jump into this train of gaming industry up until mobile era. And now with mobile, we are like equal players because we are learning the ropes together with the rest of the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, from your personal experience, for our game developers, what are the next steps? Should they, because it's perilous to have all eggs in one basket. They have to go somewhere else. What would you propose? Going to publishers, going to Steam, going to Kickstarter? What options do you think are most viable?
Yeah, well, I think what you really need to do is look at how difficult each market is. Because you can break it down into markets. You talked about mobile, you talked about Steam, you have console as well. You've got maybe Fire TV, Apple TV. The thing is, they each have different qualities. You said before, Steam is pretty difficult to get on. It's not as difficult as a console, but it's also a lot more difficult than mobile. You're starting off in mobile, that's the best place to start. The only thing I've been told time and time again by developers in Europe and North America is start out on mobile, make a reputation, learn your skills there, because it's just so easy to make the games and sell the games and so on. If you make money, you make money. If you don't, you don't. And from there, with that reputation, with your audience, then look to Steam. Once you've had a time on Steam, then you can look to console. Unfortunately, obviously it'd be lovely to be able to just skip right to the end of the line and go straight to console. But there are just so many developers now. But the only way you can do it is just slowly, surely, and just making sure you do the best job as you can along the way, and just going up and up in your ambitions as you go along. That's the only way I could say it.
Okay. So thank you for your time and thank you for visiting us here.
No problem.
Yes. Please enjoy the rest of the show.
I will, thank you.